Alrighty, hopefully you guys can see that. So as you're aware, there are quite a few different ways to access Cookidoo. So the primary way you'd normally do it is through your Thermomix screen. You can also go and access it through the app. So the app is free. You can download that either from the Apple App Store or from the Google Play Store. So I'm using mine today on a web browser. The reason I'm using a web browser is because it gives you a few more options, especially when it comes to setting default filters and things. It just makes life a little bit easier. And also when it comes to renewing your subscription. At the moment, you can currently only do this through the website. So here we go. So first of all, what I'm going to do is log in. So I'm just going to hit my login button. And because Chrome's remembered my password, that just drops straight in there. Alrighty. So the first thing when you come into Cookidoo, for me, my gut instinct is just going to search. But actually, if you scroll down the page, you see there's a whole lot of really awesome information in there. So as we go down, you see there's handpicked for you. You can see the type of cooking I like to do. Following that, we've also got the latest recipes. So we've actually got a Korean collection come out. So a lot of the latest recipes are going to be based around that at the moment. Down through to Cookidoo Kids, we've got our most cooked recipes on the database, and we're going on through. And finally, eventually, when we get down there, it's going to tell us about the latest collections. So think of a collection as kind of like a cookbook. So it's basically a whole pile of recipes put together around a theme. So don't forget, when you're looking at Cookidoo, have a scroll down the page. There's some really cool options down there. But first of all, where I'm going to start for you guys is we're going to look at how to find out about your subscription and how to renew it when the time comes. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to go up to my profile picture, which you see is just here. Just do a single click on it. And I'm going to go down and click on account. So account initially will give us the status of our Cookidoo registration. So as you can see here, my membership is currently active and it's going to renew on the 1st of January 2022. And that's $49 a year. Because I'm a consultant, I get complimentary Cookidoo access, which is absolutely amazing. And underneath this, you can see that I've got one paired device that logs into my Cookidoo account, and that's my PM6. So when it comes time to resubscribing to Cookidoo, what we need to do is click on View Details, or we could click on Membership on the left-hand side. So the only thing you have to do to renew your Cookidoo membership is to make sure that you actually have an active payment method. So as you can see, what I've got listed down on mine is my MasterCard. So all you have to do is pop in there, click the Update Payment green button, and it will ask you to put in a credit card number. And what happens after that is that annually, every 12 months, you will automatically be billed your $49. So when you think about it, $49, I would normally pay somewhere around $50 to $60 for a good cookbook. So it's actually really good value when you consider the number of recipes you have available. So that's how we go through, and that's how we check our membership and resubscribe. If you do want to change anything to do with your profile, you see down here, you've got change profile and change password. So if you want to update your password, your email address, or your name, go for it. Right. So now what I'm going to do is go back to the top of the screen where you see we've got three options. We've got Explore, My Recipes, and My Week. So I'm going to click on Explore, and this takes us back to the home screen we were just at. So in here, what I can do when it comes to search Cookidoo, I can do a search for ingredient, I can do a search for a recipe, whatever I like. However, I don't normally go to this search. This search is kind of like a very broad stroke search. What I do is I go up to my little search button up here, which kind of looks like a magnifying glass. So I'm going to click on that. So the reason I use this one is because it shows me the filters that are currently in place for my search. So you can see just down in this part of the screen, you can see my default filters. I've got United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, South Africa, Switzerland, Singapore, United States, and my English is my language I'm searching by. Now, if you haven't gone through and customized your default filters, and you've bought your Thermomix in either Australia or New Zealand, you'll find that your machine will default automatically to the Australian database. So you'll find at this screen, you'll probably only have Australia and you'll only have English. What you can do is set your default filters. So you can tell Cookidoo what filters you want to have applied by default. So the way we're going to do that, we're going to click on filters. And hopefully you guys have all seen this before, so you know you can filter by category, ingredients, tags, difficulty, etc. What I am going to go down is go right down the bottom of the screen. And it's got here to save your default filter search. So I'm going to click on Update Default Filter. And it asks me, first of all, for my cooking style. So here I've got Veggie Cook, Time Saving Cook, Chefy Cook, and Classic Cook. It's asked me for my language of choice. I've got English. And if I click on Update Filter again, these are now my default filters. So if I speak multiple languages, I wish I did, I'm just simply not that smart. You could select your multiple languages there. And down here, this is the databases that you'll pull from. So because I mainly speak English, I've chosen the English-speaking countries. But by all means, you can put down whatever you like. The other thing about your country selection is that this is also where, when you do a search for collections, that your collections will come from as well. So if you like, you can select all the countries and then select English, and you'll pull English recipes up from wherever in the world they appear. However, when you do go into collections, which I'll show you shortly, you will get collections that are not English-based as well. So I'm just going to click Save on that. And those are my default filters set. So I'm going to go back and click on my search one again. If I temporarily want to get rid of a couple of filters, I can just click the little X on the right hand side, and that will remove that filter for me. So I can search for my recipe. For example, for last night, I had some bacon and I wanted mac and cheese. So here we go, butternut and bacon macaroni cheese. Obviously, if there was more than one choice, these would all be coming up here. I can click on the recipe that takes my, that satisfies my need for my ingredients. And as we scroll down here, the most important thing I look at, first of all, is the rating. So typically for me, if a recipe rates for under 3 stars, I don't go near it. That's just my thing. I will show you shortly how to set up your filters around filtering those out immediately. We can see we've got our ingredients and all the steps it's going to take. Now, just be aware that when you are using guided cooking, sometimes the step numbers in Cookidoo don't actually come up as the individual step numbers in the Thermomix. So for example, this one here that says add macaroni and 1 teaspoon of salt and cook for 10 to 15 minutes, that's actually 3 different steps that come up on your Thermomix. Under here, we can see the tags that are applied to the recipe. We can see the things that you should get ready to make sure you can cook this dish. We can see where the recipe has come from. In this case, it's from a collection called the Budget Friendly Pasta, and that's based on an Australian and New Zealand database. On the left-hand side of this as well, we can also see our nutritional information. One of the great things I love about my Thermomix is the ability to substitute. So if you find the recipe doesn't have the, doesn't suit your nutritional needs, by all means, swap ingredients out. That's great. So that's an example recipe. I'm just going to click my back arrow. I'm going to clear my search. So this is now Currently, based on these filters, I've got 8,910 results for me to search from. But I'm now going to click into my filters, and we can wheedle this down a bit. So for example, if I'm after a vegan dish, I can go down to the area where it says tags, and I can choose vegan. When I do so, you see on the right, we've got 756 results. So that means out of all the recipes that are currently searching, so out of 8,910, 756 of them are a vegan recipe. So what we're going to do is let's have a look at a vegetarian option. So under vegetarian, we've got 3,098. So let's just go with vegetarian. So immediately you see under selected tags, we've got vegetarian there. And to get rid of that, I can just click on the X. I can be more specific if I like. So I can scroll up on my filters and I can type in ingredients. The big thing to remember when you're typing in ingredients is that you need to actually select them. So for example, if I go in here and I type, let's have a look at peanut. So we've got a whole pile of different peanut options here. I need to actually click on the one that suits me. So for example, I could click on peanut butter. And you'll notice that peanut butter now comes up as a selected filter. So I've got a couple of customers. So you can see immediately we've gone from 756 recipes down to 10. So I'm just going to clear my peanut butter off. So we're back to 3,098 vegetarian recipes. So also in here, I can nut down the type of dish I want to make. Oh, I could have chosen vegetarian there. For example, I can say I want a dessert and sweet option, or a savory baking option, in which case there's 93 results out of my 3,098. One of the things I would suggest everyone look at is have a look at the star rating. So what I would typically do is put a 5 or a 4 star on it. And that just wheedles out all the recipes that I personally wouldn't touch because the rating isn't high enough. I have found a couple of absolute winners that have been rated quite lowly. So by all means, if you see a recipe that you really want to try that hasn't got a great rating, give it a go. And don't forget to rate your recipe once you've finished it. So I'm now down to 2,600 results. So I'm going to click that. You'll notice that my filters on my screen now have updated. So here we've got the vegetarian filter we've added. We've got the 4-star filter and the 5-star filter. But as you click your filter button and add your options, you'll find that these options will increase. And at the moment, we've got 2,600 results found. So when I search now, for example, I search for the word peanut. I'm now searching just under these filters. So I'm filtering on vegetarian English recipes from these countries that are 4 or 5 star rated, and they have peanut in them. So the key thing to remember is that when you are doing a search, look at your filters first. Make sure you haven't got some kind of freaky filter set up that is going to exclude you from finding the recipes you want. Wow, look at all these yummy peanut recipes. So I go through, I find the recipes I want to do. What about a chocolate quinoa cake with peanut butter frosting? I can click on the recipe, have a quick look at it and think, oh, I really like this. So I've got 2 options to do with this recipe now. I can click on the Cook Today button, and what this will do, this will add it automatically to my week under Cook Today. So when I go to my Thermomix, all I have to do is go to my week and it will show up. However, I'm not going to cook this today. I'm going to cook this tomorrow night. So I'm going to click on the Add button, and here we've got a couple of options. We've got bookmarks. I personally don't use bookmarks because all the recipes just get clumped together. You can add to a collection. So I'll go through that shortly, but it's your way to categorize recipes that you like. The one I am going to select is add to my week. And this is going to give me the ability to schedule when I use this recipe. So I'm going to click on there. Up comes the date, and I'm going to say, I'm going to choose to cook that on Sunday. Then I'm going to click save. The other thing I always do when I select a recipe to cook, I always go through and add it to my shopping list. So your shopping list is probably my favorite feature of using Cookidoo. It just groups all your ingredients together. So it's nice and easy when you go to do your weekly or however often you do your shop. So I'm going to click my back arrow. And again, we know the filters I've got in place. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the peanuts and I'm going to choose, I don't know, let's say I've got an eggplant in the fridge. So here we go. So this is eggplant recipes within the filters that I've got set up. So I'm rocking down here and I'm thinking, oh, actually a lentil moussaka is beautiful. I've made that several times before. I'm going to click on that. Same thing. I'm going to add that to my week. So I'm going to add it. Maybe we'll have that Monday night for dinner. Click save. And I'm also going to add it to my shopping list. Now I'm going to go through and find one more recipe. So again, we're still searching within vegetarian recipes that are English. So I'm going to look up a recipe that's got potatoes in it. Here we go, potatoes. So we have got 334 potato-based recipes that all fit within our filters that we've set up. So let's go through. I'm going to choose, a sweet potato casserole. That sounds really good. And it's got a 5-star rating. It is, however, a 24-hour cook. Let's have a look at that one. Okay, I like the looks of that. So I'm going to add it to my week. And I'm going to schedule that for Thursday. Add it. And yet again, what I'm going to do is go down to my shopping list. Right. So now what I've got, when I go up to the top of my screen, I can click my week. And these are all the recipes that I've got selected to cook this week. So you can book more than a week ahead. It's entirely up to you. And these again will show up on my Thermomix when I go into the settings and into my recipes, my week. But what we've got now, we've actually built up a shopping list. So you see on this side of the screen, we've got our shopping list with all our recipes. So I can click on show ingredients. And here we've got all the ingredients that we need to cook the recipes that we've selected. So at this point here, I can choose by category. So if I'm going through the supermarket and I want to have all my items grouped together, that's great. We can have this view. My other view is by recipe, in which case it'll break it down recipe by recipe what each one involves. So I'm going to include by category, and I'm going to say, well, I've already got that. I've got caster sugar. I've got pine nuts. I don't have pistachios. And you can just go through and wheedle out the things that you already have in your cupboard. And then what's left is what you need to buy for your shopping list. I'll have one of those as well. So we can go down the entire list and have a look at what's involved. Now, the other thing that's great about the shopping list is that you can add your own ingredients. So for example, I could say in here, well, I actually need to grab some toothpaste as well. So I'm going to type that in there. And you can build up your own list. Oh, by the other way, you see we've got some ounce ingredients here. This is because one of the recipes I've picked uses imperial measurements, so it's probably from one of the American collections. So it's a nice and easy way to build up what you need to buy. So when you go around the supermarket, you can do that. What you can do also, just a recent addition, is you have the ability to order the ingredients online. So what you can do is click this, and then in New Zealand, we have the choice of, oh, I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Normally that comes up with countdown. So yeah, and you can follow the process through. It will enable you to go through and substitute ingredients if you want to substitute ingredients out. And then it asks you for your internet login details, and it automatically preloads up your online shopping list with all the ingredients you've selected. And then you can go through and order as you normally would. Right, so that's quite nice and easy. The other thing I was going to show you guys is all about collections. So we have a whole pile of collections that you can choose, or you can create your own collections. So if I go up to my recipes, you can see in my collections, I've got creating something special. This here is a Thermomix pre-made collection. And I've also got my custom ones. So for example, I've got great dishes. These are dishes that I use quite frequently. And the dishes that I've cooked and I really want to make again. What I also have down here is my Simon's to do. And you can see there's 152 recipes on there. Yeah, every time I see a recipe and I think, wow, that is absolutely amazing, I need to do that, I just add it to this collection. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is take you through how to create your own collection and how to add recipes you find into it. So at the bottom of the screen, we've got the Create Collection button. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm going to call this Simon's Birthday Bake Ideas. Save that. So my collection was successfully created. And what that means now too is that that will be synced with my Thermomix next time I turn it on. So now what I'm going to do is go back to my search. I'm going to, you see I've got my default filters back up again. Now I'm going to do a search for the word birthday. Alrighty, so these are all recipes that have birthday tagged in them. So they're going to either be birthday cakes or some kind of birthday related cook. So here we got the birthday present cake. I'm going to click on that. It's got a 4.5 rating. That's pretty good. It's only come from 2 people though. And I think, well, that's a good idea. I'm going to add this to the collection I previously made so I can group them all together. So this time when I click on the add, I'm going to click on the add to collection. And now it's brought me up all the collections that I previously have made myself. So I can't add this to Thermomix collections, but I can make it to my own collections. So what I'm going to do is click on Simon's Birthday Bake Ideas. And this was added to that collection. So let's go back one more. And we'll see if we can find something else that might be a great birthday party. Oh, tiramisu. Man, I love tiramisu. Oh, vegan Turkish delight cheesecake. That looks like it's going to be quite good. Let's have a look at that one. That looks pretty tasty. So again, what I'm going to do is click add to collection. I'm going to scroll down until I find my birthday bake ideas, add to that, and away it goes. So what you do is you can basically categorize recipes into your own collections. So if I go back to my recipes, here we go into Simon's Birthday Bake Ideas. I've got my recipes that I've selected. So what I tend to do is I categorize recipes into a collection that I want to try. When they're really good, I move them into my yummy recipes one, my great dishes. So I can click on the arrow there, and we can click down into move recipe. So when we click move recipe, we have the option to change the collection that this recipe sits in. So as I go through my Simon's to-do collection and I think, wow, that's yummy, I'll click on the dots, I'll click move recipe and move it into my great dishes. It's a really handy way to keep track of dishes that you like or dishes that you see that you think, I'd like to try that one day. So that's the way to do your own collections. However, if you want to have a look at the pre-made collections, that is the Thermomix collections, we can go back into our search. And just to the left of where we type in our search, you'll see we've got a little drop-down box here that says recipes. So I can click on recipes and go down to collections. Now, all the recipes that you find that are in Cookidoo, they're all in the collections as well. So you can, just by searching, access all these recipes individually. But what you might want to do is do a hunt for something like, for example, let's see if there's any collections based around birthdays. Okay, so we've come up with a Cookidoo celebration and beat the heat. So let's have a look at the Cookidoo celebration. So all these recipes here, as I said before, are fully searchable using your standard Cookidoo. But this is just a kind of way to group them together. One thing I do for a couple of my customers is they like having a look at some ketogenic options. So one thing I've discovered, if you want to get a really good ketogenic selection, you need to have the United States selected as part of your filter. Although I hope you've all done that anyway, just because that brings up a big selection of English-based recipes. So let's have a look at this one here. So we can go through and think, oh, coffee rubbed skirt steak. That looks quite yummy. Again, because we're dealing with an American recipe, you'll see how we're measuring in ounces. So don't forget that your Thermomix will automatically switch to imperial weights. So as you're cooking this recipe using guided cooking, it will just switch for you. I like the look of that one. So I'm going to add that to a collection. I'm going to add that to my Simon's to try. There you go. And although it's an American recipe, although it's in a different collection, I've now got it tagged in my collection so it shows up. So collections are a great way to go through if you want to hunt for a particular type of food or if you want some ideas. So collections, again, are groups of recipes. You can create your own collections. Oh my goodness, look at that. Memorable mac and cheese collection. Why have I not found this before? Alrighty. So by all means, if you are looking for a group of recipes that you want to get a bit more inspiration, have a look at your collections. There's a whole pile of good stuff there. You'll notice with my collections that I've got some foreign collections in there. So we've got, those look like they're in French or German. So that's all coming through from my default filters I've got set here. Hey, that's it for my session on Cookidoo, guys. Hey, if you have any questions, please flick me a message. I'd love to help you out.